So now, Senator-elect Castro, congratulations. What's your reflection now that you're transitioning into the Senate?
I mean, the work still continues, and it's, a lot of people are asking, aren't you excited and everything? Really, it's just an expansion of what we've been doing. I am excited, but at the same time, it was, we ran as a team, and we have a few members that didn't make it, so it's kind of hard to celebrate. Like when you have members of your team that didn't make it, like all the plans were aligned with that. So now you have to reshift our strategy, and especially when it not only in my precinct, but even in Rhoda, it makes a difference. I've worked closely with Senator Paul. We're very passionate about renewable energy and pushing towards improving. And with Senator Paul's background, what he studied in college, it aligns. He's the perfect person to kind of push that agenda. So, but ultimately, the people spoke, and it all comes down to the framers of the Constitution, how every island is important. So one thing I did, I try to remain is continue to be the public servant. And the benefit is people continue to put you, keep you in check and make sure, my friends as well, family. So I try as much as possible to stay the same person that I came in as, and remain grounded. Of course, we all have to evolve and adapt, but at the same time, it's always been about the people and public service. So whatever bill I introduce, whether it's controversial or not, I have to really look at at the situation at hand. Is it going to benefit the people? Is it going to help the government be more efficient? Is it going to help the business community? And that's really how I frame everything that I do. During the election, there were instances where people were wondering why I'm not at the tent, because at the same time, you have to balance, right? You have to balance. You're still in office. You still have to serve the people. So, I made a commitment to Precinct 2 and also to Tanapec for the cemetery, helping them out with All Souls Day. One of the few representatives that has a public address system that can reach. And so a lot of people are wondering why it's not in the tent, then it's like, you have to choose, right? And there's sometimes there's negative comments, like that the priests don't vote and the dead don't vote, but like that, we shouldn't be thinking like that. We should think about if there's a service that needs to be fulfilled, and at the end of the day, it's like if you make a commitment, stay with that commitment to help. But my focus is really on the systemic issues that we have. We have a lot of systemic issues. The services that we're providing, even we just got released. I mean, the governor just put us back on, on regular hours, at least the public government employees. But I mean, there's still a lot of things we need to change in terms of cleaning our house up, right? If we want more investors to come in, we have to make sure we improve our services. And at the same time, utilities, man, just being real, it's a struggle even for myself to pay for my power bill. Honestly, on election day, I was like, I hope they don't disconnect me because I'm that close. So I really, we feel the struggle. At least most of us feel the struggle. just even with myself as a single dad, like I'm if you haven't like scrounged for coins, like then you don't know what it means to struggle. But everyone has a different struggle. But our ultimate goal is if we can really solve some of these issues and improve the services, then it's going to have a lasting impact. Whether or not it comes to medical referral or food stamps or even our power situation. And that's why we're really, I really hope that we, when I say we, it's like those in the different government agencies start, to embracing the change that needs to happen. Because it's these policies that are really hurting us. So the dynamics in the Senate, it's still too early to see, but just the fact that Senator Paul did not make it, it's a, things can change, right? Right,
it's going to lean Republican, right?
Yeah.
And so how do you expect that to, influence the way you achieve things?
At the end of the day, we serve the people, and I'm just I'm pretty certain that our elected leaders, whether they're Republican, Independent, or Democrat, they're gonna do what's right, and we really need to move towards that direction. There are things that are happening on Rhoda and Tinian that because when we, obviously I was with the AD camp when we ran, and when we visited Tinian, there were things that we've heard. When we visited Rhoda, there's things we heard, and even here on Saipan, the agencies they've been saying, what's the issue. So, we really need to work towards that. But what I did learn in my, not only in the campaign but also in serving as Precinct 2 representative, is we need to do more outreach to our people. We need, because not everyone's paying attention to what's going on, like in the session. So a lot of times the public comes up really upset about certain issues, but if they actually read the bill and everything that's in it, it actually addresses the concerns that are being brought up. So it's kind of hard to do that in times when our budget is limited. Like, we have to really prioritize. I have a lot of people that ask, hey, Congressman, can you sponsor our team? And there's a level of priority, right? It's also been a lot of funerals and everything. So I look forward to really doing the good work and really addressing a lot of these issues, and it's going to require the public to be really engaged. Some of these decisions, I'm going to need votes from Rhoda and Tinian, so everybody needs to be engaged to hold their elected officials keep them accountable, and so I look forward to doing that outreach and getting involved in getting more engaged with the community, so that we can all be on the same page in moving our Commonwealth forward.
You unseated the incumbent, Senator Edith Deleon Guerrero. Have you had a chance to talk to her? Has she called you?
Actually, we've met at several events prior to the election, and then also after the election. And there was one event, I think it was for the Mango stakeholders meeting, and we actually sat next together, and I was like, let's sit together, let's show people that elections don't have to be nasty. Like, we're running against each other, but we don't have to be bitter or anything. So it was something you don't see all the time, but I'm glad we were able to sit on the same table. Unfortunately, there's a lot of times we meet even with family members and everything. It's at funerals. So after the election, I met her at a funeral. I approached her and extended my hand. So we're actually related. Most people, I don't think they know that. We're closely related. It doesn't show, but her siblings grew up with my dad, and some of her siblings lived stayed at our house for a while. So, yeah. So, but when it comes to, everybody has their take on issues, and we both decided to run, and I'm really grateful that it was a clean race. And having been involved in so many elections, I'm glad that this election wasn't like nasty like the other ones. Everyone was pretty much professional.
All right, so first day on the job is in January. I'm wondering if there's a bill that you have that you're going to introduce on day one, or any initiative, or how are you approaching that?
Man, we have several bills that were, kind of like still, they passed the House, so now it's going to be going the other way around, right? And some of those bills, I guess being on the Senate side now, it's easier to have that one-on-one dialogue because we're in the same chamber, right? And just for example, the issues with substance abuse, homelessness. Right now the issue is not as big as it potentially can be. So it's easier to address the situation now before it gets out of hand. And whether or not people realize this, but this actually hurts the economy when you have people harassing tourists, asking for funds, like, at a restaurant or at a gas station. And there's several encounters that, some of them I do know, some of them I'm actually related to, right? And I approached them like, hey man, like, don't do that. And but at the end of the day, we really need to look at the situation. We can't just put them in jail, or we have to have a rehabilitative program for them. There needs to be some cognitive behavioral therapy or treatment. But at the end of the day, there also needs to be discipline. If you are constantly harassing people, and especially tourists, manomko, sometimes manomko, they don't want to get out of the car because these guys are really pressuring them. So, community service, you continue to do that, and they assign you to DOC outreach, and you go on bushcart or clean up the cemetery or something. But I'm not, at the same time, we have to rehabilitate them. Maybe we can expand SAR to include a kind of I don't know what's the proper term, but a halfway house or something to kind of transition them and give them the treatment that they need. But everything costs money, so we have to invest in these things. We really need to build our asset column. We have so much liabilities, but if we put our money in infrastructure and building our asset column, that asset column is gonna pay for the liabilities. I mean, I might not really, for some reason I'm really good at helping people make money, whether it's the government or consulting other people. I don't know, that's just me. I'm good at making money for other people, but at the same time, I'm just a humble person. I don't really care about the money, for myself. It's just something I like to do. This is really, everything that I'm doing now is payback to our community for their investment in me when I went out to college, and likewise with yourself. I'm really glad you chose to come back and serve our community. But we also need to look at our scholarship programs, things like that. It's unfortunate, but not many people are coming back. I mean, you took the money, right? You got the scholarship. And yes, there's a lot more convenience in the mainland, but either pay that money back or come back and serve, right? Because when when we, take the scholarship and run and just work in the States and don't pay it back, it hurts the scholarship program for our future generations. I'm also going to be working closely with the scholarship agencies because, we don't have this unlimited bank account. We cannot continue to train, workforce for other states. And that's basically what happens when we use CNMI funds to pay for someone's education and they end up staying in the mainland. We just effectively provided workforce development for that state where they're residing at, right? So we need to think of a way to entice and make these opportunities available for our residents to come back. At the same time, we need to look at all these other agencies, things like medical referral. It's, there's two ways, like in terms of looking at programs. Yes, you can save a ton of money, but is the service better, right? Quantitative, qualitative, right? And, just the other day, I felt really bad because there was this elderly lady that was trying to book her flight at Travel Lines, and she almost she was crying because it was like she didn't even know how to get to the Philippines, how to book a taxi, how to book a room. And these are the things that we have to think about. Like, yes, Philippines can be great, but maybe we should have a separate system for the elderly or people that have no family. We really have to look at our services. And that's one benefit of having a liaison offices on site instead of a contractor, is because the liaison offices understands the CNMI, understands, when you have an actual personnel. So those things really have to be looked at. And it's not just about numbers at times. So I'm sorry, I think I'm going too deep into the details, but we're suffering from a lot of the decisions that have been made in the past that even our economy, it's all decisions that were made in the past, even when it comes to taxes.
I was just going to open the floor to you. Any message to the viewers? Obviously, you're not done with your current term yet.
Yes.
But so you still have a job to do here. But any last message you want to share as you prepare to be a senator? First
of all, I just want to thank the community, everyone out there, for exercising your right to vote. If I haven't gotten to you yet or visited you, that's in the works. I really do want to visit as many people as I can during the campaign. It's a hard thing to juggle, to go to every house, island-wide, but that's one thing I want to do more of. Really, the best data is qualitative data, when you can go in there and get information directly from the people in the villages, what's going on, and hear, and then bring that back and analyze everything. So that's one thing that I plan on going out and checking in on our people. But to the people of the CNMI, thank you so much for giving me your vote of confidence, and I'll continue to work for you. At the same time, I look forward to working with our House and Senate members and all the different government agencies. It's going to be a different role now, being a senator, but I believe it's also it allows me to look at the more systemic issues other than just the revenue generation, because we can bring in a lot of revenue, but if we're not operating efficiently, we're just going around in circles. So again, to our voting public, thank you so much for your support. Sisu Smallsi, Giluso.